In today's video, we're gonna separate truth from fiction once again, and we're gonna talk about whether or not the Toronto and GTA real estate market is really on a tear, like some news outlets have suggested. In terms of talking about the market, of course, we're gonna talk about the TREB resale market report and go through it thoroughly, talk about all the major numbers, all the major trends, sales figure, inventory figure, home prices across the Toronto and GTA real estate market, and really dig down to the truth of the matter. But before we do, hello everyone, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate and Remax Realtron Realty Inc. As always, back with another video for you guys here today. In today's video, we're gonna do a market report where we talk about the market stats. But if you're new to the channel, on this channel, we like to discuss everything having to do with the Toronto and GTA real estate market. Market report videos such as this, property tours, properties I've sold and purchased, area analysis, condo reviews, buyer advice, seller advice, and so much more. So if you find any of this content informative or enjoyable, feel free to subscribe to stay tuned with the market and what's happening. And in order to catch my latest videos, as always, my contact information is also on the screen and in the description box. Feel free to reach out with any real estate inquiries. Many of you have, and I'm happy to meet new clients all the time from this channel and other social media platforms as well. So let's get to the point of today's video, which is the Toronto and GTA real estate market report. What's really happening? And I shared a lot of these numbers that I'm going to discuss today in advance of this video in my exclusive WhatsApp group chat. That's just basically an exclusive WhatsApp newsletter, for lack of a better word, where I share across all types of interesting items and market reports and market figures. If you want to, by the way, join that, the link is in the description. And when I shared across these numbers and these figures in my exclusive WhatsApp group chat, the biggest point of emphasis was for me the 37% increase in Toronto and GTA home sales. What do I mean by that? Well, according to the latest TREB resale market report, in January of 2024, we saw an increase of 37% in Toronto and GTA home sales across all property types, across all GTA areas. Where in January of 2023, there was about 3,080 home sales. Now in January of 2024, we see around 4,200 home sales. Now, at face value, this is a very eye-catching number. 37% increase in really anything is a substantial increase, and I'm not here to deny that. But let me tell you where this number is accurate in terms of accurate takeaways we can have with regards to this number, and where this figure can be a little bit misleading. So let me give you the wider context. Let's first and foremost start with how this figure can be slightly misleading. 37% is a substantial number, but we have to understand here, this is a year-over-year figure. This 37% increase that January 2024 saw is from a point in time, namely here January 2023, where sales were historically low within the Toronto and GTA real estate market. In fact, off memory, I'm pretty sure January 2023 was one of the lowest sales months within the last 13 to 15 years in the Toronto and GTA real estate market. So yes, this 37% increase is not a fabricated number. Nonetheless, though, in context is not that impressive. 37% increase from one of the historically lowest points in the history of the Toronto and GTA real estate market is something to be expected, for a lack of a better word. And more to the point, if we just simply look on the month-over-month basis, right, the increase of the month-over-month sales figure comparing 2024, January of 2024 to December of 2023, we don't see an increase of 37%, we see an increase of 22% from December 2023 to January 2024. So this 22% increase is a little bit more real, once again, for a lack of a better word, because it's comparing January 2024 to the preceding month, not last year, where last year, once again, was a historically low period for sales. And this is where we can transition in terms of what accurate takeaways this number can provide us, which is undoubtedly buyer sentiment has turned to the positive side, and buyer confidence has increased, and we see that in an increase in sales, and we also see that with an increase in offers. Now, this buyer confidence, this increase in buyer confidence has not yet been reflected in home prices yet. What do I mean by that? Well, let's transition to the next metric, which is the average sold price across all areas within the Toronto and GTA real estate market in all property types. This average sold price is down 1% year over year. This average sold price GTA wide came in at $1,026,000, which represented once again a 1% decline, 1% drop from the preceding January, where that figure was around $1,036,000. Now, in my professional opinion, when we talk of changes in the market, ranging from 1 to 3%, I this large a metric, once again, remember, this is an average sold price across all property types, across all areas. Changes of 1 to 3%, either way, whether it's an increase of 1 to 3% or a decrease of 1 to 3%, generally to me means that the market is pretty flush, right? Yes, literally speaking, it's a drop of 1%, but in practical terms, market once again is pretty flush with last year. I would say the same thing if there was a 1% increase. And many times on this channel, of course, I have. So clearly the increase in buyer confidence that has led to an increase in offers, and as we just discussed, an increase in sales, has not yet represented an increase in home prices. And this is actually something I touched on in one of my most recent videos where I talked about how bidding wars have made a return. Even in that video, which a lot of people, no surprise, did not actually watch to the point where I said it has not reflected in higher prices, and they commented away with whatever takeaway they wanted to have, not what I actually said. In that video, I mentioned that an increase in bidding wars and an increase in offers has not yet been reflected in an increase in average sold prices. And to this day, that remains true. You know, all these properties are receiving multiple offers, which is happening. Those properties more or less are not selling for higher than the market value of a comparable in that city, in that street, in that building, in that neighborhood. Now, touching briefly on inventory and listings were up as well to the tune of 6.1%. Because in January of 2024, we saw about 8,300 new listings. In January of 2023, we were looking at around 7,800. Now, if my math is correct, this actually represents a 113% increase on a month-over-month basis, comparing January to December of 2023. But once again, that number is also, an accurate figure. It's not, a miscalculation, but you have to understand this 113% increase month over month from December to January is very normal, right? Most people are not looking to sell in December. Most people are, on their holidays or putting off plans into the new year, despite all other things in terms of market trends, in terms of, Bank of Canada interest rates. Putting all that aside, everything else being equal, people don't typically look to list in December. So this month over month increase as well in terms of inventory should be taken in context. Nonetheless, I can say on the ground, I am seeing obviously more options available. I still haven't seen, of course, it depends on what type of buyer we're talking about. My condo buyers are different than my freehold buyers. Even my condo buyers are different from each other in terms of area, in terms of property type. But if I were to generalize, which is very difficult to do, but if I were to generalize, I would have to tell you that we still haven't seen the really prime, the really A+ top shelf listings flood the market yet, right? Those listings that are really top shelf and really, good properties that have been coming onto the market, those are the ones that are actually receiving the most offers, whether it's the value proposition of their location, their interior, or everything combined together. Now let's break down Toronto and GTA home prices a little bit more in depth and break them down by area and property type. Starting with property types, detached homes, GTA-wide came in at an average sold price of $1,350,000. Semi-detached came in at an average sold price of $1,038,000, kind of close to the average sold price overall. Townhomes came in at an average sold price of $891,000. And condos came in at an average sold price of $681,000, once again, GTA-wide. Now, these sold prices all range from being down 0.6% on a year-over-year basis in the case of condos to being up 1.8% year-over-year with the case of, I believe, semi-detached. So once again, my philosophy remains consistent. Anything, honestly, 1 to 3% in this case, I don't see as substantial. So insofar as I'm concerned, the market in terms of sold prices is pretty flush with last year. And the same applies when we look at these home prices by property type on a month over month basis, with the sole exception of detached homes. This is where we can take note of this figure. Detached homes on a month over month basis was actually down 4.5% in average sold price. So the average sold price in December, and you can go watch that video when I covered it, was actually higher, 4.5%, than this 1.35 figure that we're looking at right now. And if I were to ponder as to why this is the case, I believe, the supply was so low in December, even for most Decembers, that kind of helped prices be higher than normal in December in terms of the buyers that were actively looking. Now that supply has increased, once again, despite all the bidding wars that are happening, we see that prices have actually fallen for detached homes. Now, another key distinction we should make here is that detached homes in Toronto performed much better than York region. Detached homes in Toronto were actually up around 3 to 4% in average sold price. Whereas with the rest of the 905, if we take it all as a cluster, right? So Durham, Peel, combined with York and all the other areas, we see that detached homes against the field, for lack of a better word, they were actually down. Whereas Toronto detached homes were up in average sold price. Both on a year-over-year basis, as we see here at 5.7% and a month-over-month basis. So how should sellers and buyers right now be navigating the Toronto and GTA real estate market? Let's start with the seller side. I think sellers right now should be cautiously optimistic. Despite the falling average price across all property types, I think freehold sellers should have increased confidence going into the depths of February, March, and April. I am surprised that there was an average sold price decrease across the GTA. I'm willing to be wrong on this, but I don't think the average sold price is going to decrease into February and March, especially for freehold properties. We see here freehold properties have performed the best. So harkening back all the way to fall 2023, and even before that in summer of 2023, where I was telling my freehold sellers to wait until the spring of 2024, that has not shifted or changed in my estimate. I think freehold sellers, things are looking good in the coming months. And as always, I have to add this very true caveat. This is not me being non-committal. This is just a fact of the matter that it really comes down to the particular seller, right? Street by street, there are wildly different trends in certain areas. Nonetheless, this is all generally speaking. Moving forward to the buyer, and once again, generally speaking, right now, freehold buyers, well, it's a bit of a complicated situation whether you should wait or not. I would say for most freehold buyers, it's a 50-50 call. I would still lean on the side of saying, hey, it's better to get your buying out of the way before February, March, and April, because not everything has to do with price. And I know a lot of people might disagree with that, and let me know in the comments if you do, but in my opinion, a market where the prices are declining 1 to 3%, let's say, but buyer competition is increasing, and that's leading buyers to remove their protections in terms of removing inspection conditions, removing financing conditions, and often making big decisions under time crunches due to the nature of bidding wars. Well, if all that is in place, even despite the 1 to 3% falling prices, I would still not categorize that as a buyer-friendly market. And to me right now, once again, prices are buyer friendly. Prices haven't increased substantially. In fact, they have dropped for some metrics. Buyers are going firm on offers more than they were in fall and summer of 2023. So once again, it becomes a 50-50 call. And oftentimes, once again, you should not be timing the market. Honestly, for most buyers, you should be out there looking for what you like and then taking things from there. Nonetheless, for condo buyers, it's a different situation. Condo buyers, in my professional opinion, have more room to navigate, and the leverage right now is there to a higher degree. Anyways, this is Sam from SaberiSix Real Estate and Remax Realtron Realty Inc. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, you can find my contact information in the description box. Subscribe, comment, rate, and review. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe and stay tuned. Thank you.